劫啊！救命啊！慘啊！啊！快啊！快啊！可唔可以幫到你手啊？救命啊！我哋冇惡意㗎，你好似有惡意。使唔使幫你手啊？佢好似暈咗喎。如果我哋照常話俾佢聽，唔知佢會點樣。
Hello! If you're a fan of the movies made after fighting games, we got one for you. Future Cops, heavily inspired by Street Fighter 2 and a hint of Dragon Ball. There will be spoilers, so if you want to check it out by yourself, it's available at DARKROOM.film. The link is in the description. First, a few words about the current state of the industry. It seems that Hollywood movie makers just love to ruin well-established franchises and remake movies that absolutely don't need one. Well, to be clear, it's not that they ruin it on purpose, but rather that every famous title is eventually considered a cash cow, while no one cares about the quality of the final product or fans' preferences, has zero respect for the original product, and doesn't even bother to consult with someone who is familiar with the material. While occasionally we still hug our knees and cry in the shower after waking up from Snow White nightmares, Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out. It's just surprising that they haven't hired Pedro Pascal for the role of Johnny Cage. Remember the 1995 movie? The studio didn't have a budget, but compensated with plenty of desire to do the best, love for the game and cinema, and a bombastic soundtrack.
Your soul is mine.
The Techno Syndrome tune till this day makes dedicated fans shed a nostalgic tear of joy. And of course it is not used in the new movie. Because it's a reboot, not a sequel, yeah, whatever. But speaking of fighting games, we should not forget another legendary representative of the genre. I'm talking about the Street Fighter. This gem, by the way, came out 5 years before the Mortal Kombat game. Later, with a year difference, their famous film adaptations were released. Realistically, those were not the examples of quality cinema at all. Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme had a lot of overacting and had some exaggerated plot featuring war in the imaginary jungle country, power-hungry dictator, and a hostage situation. And none of that actually affects anything. It just exists through the movie without offering any logical developments.
I'm going to kick Bison's ass.
I don't think so.
Mortal Kombat skipped the convoluted plot part altogether. Heroes go to the island to participate in a fight tournament, where they fight to death. If I just spoiled the plot of the 30-year-old movie, it's on you. Even though, if you try to watch them now, those films occasionally feel like they are so bad that they are actually good. For 90s arcade kids, they were indeed a treasure. But don't worry, dear viewer, any of those movies are still incomparably better than the latest attempt to remake War of the Worlds. This one is just some different dimension of nonsense produced by that one Russian dude. Do you realize that there was a group of the adults in the room seriously considering themselves capable of putting together a remake of the film made by Steven Spielberg starring Tom Cruise, and that it will go well?
Get away from that! Get out of there!
Well, it didn't. Anyway, Future Cops. The movie was made by Jing Wong, one of the most flamboyant, creative and controversial directors in Hong Kong. It's fair to say that his strongest quality is his impeccable vision of industry tendencies combined with an ability to communicate that vision to the audience in the most understandable way, offering the perfect balance between artistic effort and a talent for not taking himself too seriously. In other words, no one ever expected to see him making a Chinese equivalent of Titanic or Schindler's List, but rather would go to the theater for a healthy dosage of fun and occasionally silly entertainment. All of the above appeared to be appreciated by the audience to the highest extent, because around the mid to late 90s, his movies accounted for 30% of the whole Hong Kong box office. So when the right time came, inspired by the Street Fighter game and success of the Fight Back to School movie franchise, Wong came up with Future Cops. The plot is simple and understandable. Somewhere in the near future, the General, who is the ultimate villain boss in the game franchise, aka Bison,
You'll have to do better than that.
gets arrested, and the judge is about to lock him up for good. The General's top dogs, Kent, Tai King, and Toyota, who portray the game's Ken Master, Sagat, and Honda, fight their way to the time machine to go back to 1993 and kill the judge while he still attends school. In the middle of the brawl arrive Future Cops Lang, Broomhead, Timan, and Singh, who are Ryu, Guil, Vega, and Dhalsim, respectively. In the midst of a Street Fighter-themed battle, the bad guys succeed and manage to make their way to the past. Future Cops, on the other hand, learn about the evil plan and, after consulting with the police chief, decide to travel back in time as well to protect the young judge. They arrive in the year 1993, slightly earlier than the General's crew. Cops use their time advantage to go undercover into the young judge's school as fellow students and teachers. At this point, the movie completely goes off the path familiar to the Westerners, occasionally looking like an unhinged comedy TikTok production, which, when dosed properly, only highlights its unique charisma and ambience. The story, however, unfolds as follows. Once the Future Cops get to 1993, they find Tai Hung, who helps them stay undercover by letting them live with him and his family. Timan pretends to be a fellow student while striking up a romance with Tai Hung's sister, Chun Mei. Broomhead gets a job in school as a music teacher and starts flirting with the beauty Crab Angel, while Singh follows Tai Hung as a servant and protects him from bullies. When the General's crew arrives, Kent also goes undercover as a teacher in an effort to find out the identity of Tai Hung. He injects T-Man with serum that recalibrates the cop's mind to the level of a 5-year-old. He then tricks Crab Angel into taking him to a lover's spot, where Broomhead shows up and they have a bombastic fight. The future cop wins but spares Ken's life. To return the favor, Ken Master restores T-Man's mental state. The general breaks out of future jail, travels to the past, and takes over the school as a principal. He puts the school in lockdown to force the cops to hand over Tai-Hung. At Tai-Hung's birthday party, he realizes that the villains are after him and wishes to court his way out of the situation. This continues even after the cops inject microchips into Tai-Hung, his family and his girlfriend to give them superpowers. The final standout happens on the school premises, where the general's fighters dominate over the future cops. In the middle of the clash, Tai-Hung crashes his hoverboard into the building. The accident finally awakens the young judge's bravery and strong spirit, and he joins the fight as Goku from Dragon Ball. Because why not, I guess. At the same time, Ken Master runs into a major disagreement with Bison and flips sides at the very last second. Only when all the heroes join forces are they able to win against the evil. The end. As I mentioned earlier, the film doesn't take itself too seriously, rather appearing as an ultimate party entertainment to have a healthy laugh with a group of friends. Future Cops is available to watch at DARKROOM.film with hundreds of other gems that didn't make it to the mainstream but are definitely worth your attention. Good luck, have fun, and see you later.